everyone. Today we will take up sixth chapter from the textbook Many Worlds of Literature. The name of the chapter is Indian Women and the Salt Satyagrah. The writer of this chapter is Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, and it is a passage taken from the book titled Indian Women's Battle for Freedom. Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay is a well-known political leader of pre-independence days. The book gives an account of Indian women's struggle for political and social reforms and their efforts aimed at gaining representation in political field and rights of citizenship. As we all know, women were not given the right to vote, and several British commissions denied them the right on the grounds that they were socially disabled. Finally, the Madras Legislative Assembly was the first to give them this right to vote. Women sought a representation in Round Table Conference in 1929, but the British government turned down their nominees and selected their own and continued to ignore the Indian women's demand for equal rights. Women also felt bittered about the communal award, which was aimed at dividing the people. The present passage refers to this period of 1929 and 1930, when women were disillusioned with the attitude of the British authorities, and Gandhiji was also preparing for the Salt Satyagrah. The Congress had brought out its own reply to Simon Commission in the form of Nehru Report, and it put forward the demand for Poon Swaraj. This coincided with the launching of civil disobedience movement, and this is called as Salt Satyagraha. Women organizations sought Gandhiji's permission to participate in this. So the chapter starts by saying that women in India were completely convinced that freedom would have to be achieved by Indian people through their own effort, and in their own country it was a big illusion to expect it to come from the rulers. Means they understood that they will have to snatch the freedom from the rulers. It will not be easily given to them. Thus, apart from the powerful draw of Gandhiji's personality, the conviction led large number of women from all walks of life and levels of society into the Salt Satyagraha movement. Gandhiji seemed unwilling to have women in the political in direct action, and so he thought that it would be better for women to look after other matters. He explained that he had some other plans for them. This resulted in a very historic incident. The women protested reluctantly, pointing out his seeming anomaly. Means Gandhiji was unwilling to allow women to participate directly in the freedom movement, and women raised their voice loudly, for he had felt that they would best do to take the care of ashram in his absence, and he left it completely in the hands of women. Their feelings were conveyed to him through a letter sent by Mrs. Cousins, and she said in her letter that the division of sexes, men and women, in a non-violent campaign seems unnatural and against all the awakened consciousness of women of today. In these stirring critical days for India's destiny, there can be no watertight compartments of service. Women ask that they should be allowed that no marches, imprisonments, no demonstrations organized for the benefit of India should prohibit women from a share in them. Means they should be allowed to take part in such moments. The women made it clear that while they respected his alternatives and were willing to take up picketing of foreign clothes, liquor shops, etc., their patriotism and eagerness to serve should not be refused, and it should be allowed without any limits. So, this episode appeared confusing, and the writer, that is Kamala Chattopadhyay, decided to have it cleared with Gandhiji. So, she met Gandhiji in one of his march to Dandi to break the salt satyagraha, and at one of the villages where he was halting, she decided to meet him. Avoiding this controversy, she went straight to what she had to say to him and explained that the moment he was launching was a very great opportunity for Indian women to liberate themselves in the process. That she was keen they join in a large numbers and actively make themselves felt. So therefore she asked him to make a special appeal to them. His answer was a broad smile. You don't seem to know your sisters, he protested. But then Kamala Chattopadhyay retorted that she had full confidence, and she said that now they have been confined so long within their four walls, they seem hardly aware of world which lies outside. But he was firmly confident that they would emerge in large numbers when the time came, and to satisfy the author, however, he wrote a few lines addressed to them. The salt satyagraha must stand out as not only unique but as an incredible form of revolution in human history. The very simplicity of this weapon was as appealing and surprising as women were concerned. It was ideally tailor made for them in order to say that it was fit for them, as women were naturally presiding, means they were doing all the cooking operations functions in the kitchen, and salt, as we all know, is the most intimate and indispensable material, so its importance cannot be magnified. It seemed natural that the women should have taken a leading role in salt satyagraha, and the author says that before her the fantastic scene of Chowpatty in Bombay is still clear. The first day, that was 6th April 1930, when the salt law was to be broken, instead of tiny sands on the beach, there